Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will see the 4-sum problem which is from LeetCode number 18. So let us first read the problem statement. In this problem we are given an array nums which is containing n integers and we are given an integer target. We need to find a quadruplet which is ABCD so that the sum of ABCD comes out to be equals to target. We need to find all such unique quadruplets in the array which gives the sum of target. Now the important thing to note here is the quadruplets should be unique, okay? They should not contain duplicates. So let's see an example in order to get a better understanding. Well, let's take this example where the nums array is having these elements which are 6 elements and our target sum is 0. We need to find all the unique quadruplets and we need to return them where the sum of the quadruplets is equals to 0. So what is a quadruplet? It is basically 4 elements. 4 different elements forms a quadruplet. Okay. Now in this case you will see that if we take the quadruplet of -2, -1, 1, 2, then it will sum up to target value 0. So this is one quadruplet. Okay. Now the second quadruplet can be -2, 0, 0, 2. Right. And this is yet another quadruplet. This is a third quadruplet where the target sum will be 0. So these all will be contained in our answer. Okay. In this case, we are given the nums array, and as a simplest approach, we need to find the target, and so we will take 4 pointers I, j, k, l, and we will find all possible sums. Okay. So this is basically the simplest approach where we will take 4 loops, and then inside the 4 loops, we will find the sum value. Now if sum value is coming as equals to the target value, then this can become a valid quadruplet. But we are not actually sure if it is valid because validity doesn't only mean that the sum should be equals to target. The first criteria is sum should be equals to target. Okay. The second criteria is all I, j, k, l should be different. Okay. These all should be different. So by using these 4 loops, according to the condition which I have given, this second criteria will be fulfilled by just using this kind of structure. Okay. Because I, j, k, l will all be separate, they all will be unique, they will not overlap. Okay. So this second criteria we are fulfilling. Now there is a third criteria that duplicate quadruplets are not allowed. Duplicate quadruplets are not allowed. So we found the sum here. So we can find it from here. Like we can check if sum is equals to target from here. And the second criteria was fulfilled by this structure of the 4 for loops. Now how do we fulfill this criteria of finding the duplicate quadruplets? So if you remember, like if we want to find only the unique elements, if we are having let's say multiple elements, okay, and we want to reduce them to just unique elements, then a very good data structure for doing this is a set. Okay. Because set only keeps the unique elements. It will remove all the duplicates. You don't have to do anything. You just need to use a set in order to maintain the unique quadruplets or unique elements. So in the similar way here as well, we will be using a set. Right? So what elements will be storing in the set so that once a combination is stored, the next time when a duplicate comes, then we know exactly what we need to remove and what we need to keep. So for this reason, in the set actually we will be storing like this I, j, k, l, right? And we can also store the sum value. It all depends on your implementation. So by storing all these 4 indices, we can make sure that if its sum value is let's say 2, okay, in this case it's 0, let's say sum value is 0, then when the next time 0 is encountered, then we will be checking the current I, j, k, l with the one stored in the set. Okay. If it is stored, then it will not be duplicated. So in a set, what we can do is we don't need to check anything. If the sum is equals to target, we can simply push this entire combination I, j, k, l into the set. So if let's say we had this set of indices 1, 2, 3, 5, okay, which is giving us sum equals to 0. Now we found another combination, let's say 2, 1, 5, 3, which is also sum equals to 0. And we found now another combination I, j, k, l which is matching with this set, okay, with this vector. So in that case, even if we try to push it, it will not be pushed. Okay, so this is the basic concept of set, I think. So this will be pretty simple to understand as well. So this is the simplest approach, and in this case the time complexity will be here I is running from 0 to n minus 4, j from I plus 1 to n minus 3, and so on. So this is giving us order of n to the power 4, and insertion in set will take log n time. Okay, so the total time complexity in this case will be n to the power 4 log n. This is the total time complexity for this simple approach using set. Okay, so let's now see a second approach which is also based on set, right, but it will be a more optimal one. So in this case, what we will do is, in the previous case we had just used four loops. So we can just reduce these two loops, the inner two loops, into just using two pointer technique. Okay, so that you will have a left pointer, you will have a right pointer. Left will move to the right and right will move to the left until left is less than right. So this is the same technique, but here we are just removing the inner two loops, which was k and l, and replacing it by two pointer technique, which is left and right. Okay, so the left will be pointing to j plus 1 and the right will be pointing to the last element. And now we will be like applying the two pointer technique here. Ij will be pointing, Ij will run in the similar way, which will be like order of n square. This will have order of n square combinations, and inside that, for this two pointer technique, it will take just order of n time. Okay, so these three loops together will take order of n cube time, right? So I hope you already know the two pointer technique, so I will not be explaining it in detail here. Now there must be some cases where you will increment the left pointer or you will decrement the right pointer. So if some value which you have found inside all these three loops happens to be greater than target, then obviously your array was ordered in ascending order. We will assume that we ordered it in ascending order. We will sort it. Okay, so in the previous case as well, we will sort the array. This was unsorted, but after sorting we can maintain order. So why is order important? In the first step as well, if we had just ordered it, then if we already know that a certain combination I, j, k, l will be producing a sum which is greater than target, okay, then there is no point in exploring the rest of the values, the rest of the elements, right? Because if we have ordered it in ascending order, and if we are pointing I, j, k, l to certain points, then it is useless to just move this l forward, because sum is already greater than target. And in that case, when sum is greater than target, we can just break out of the loop and move on to the next combination, right? So this will save us a lot of time when the target is much less than the array size, okay, or the array elements. So this is also one optimization, because ordering an element will just take you n log n time, and that will be independent of this n to the power 4 log n, right? So here the bottleneck timing is n to the power 4 log n. So if you keep it ordered, you can just break out of here. Like the breakpoints will be inserted at each of these for loops. So I will be showing you in the code how you can do it, right? So here as well, the elements will be ordered so that we can apply the two pointer technique, right? So once we find that sum is greater than target, then we will move to the left, because the highest elements are always on the right hand side, because the array is in ascending order. And if sum is less than equals to target, then we will move the left pointer to the right hand side. Okay, so this is pretty simple to understand. We will always maintain ordered array, so we will just order it using sorting. This is our target value, and we will follow the same set approach which I told you in the approach number 1. So what will be the time complexity in this case? Here the three loops will already take order of n cube, and then inside the third loop we will be inserting into the set. Okay, insert in set. So inserting in set will take log n time. Therefore the total time complexity will be n cube log n. So this is the time complexity for the second approach. In the previous approach it was n to the power 4 log n. So this is like much more efficient than the first approach, right? So these two approaches were by using set, but there is a third approach which will use hash map. Now how do we use hash map in this case? How can we think about it? Well, the set approaches seem to be very intuitive, but the hash map approach may not be so intuitive, right? Now in this case we have already ordered the elements. So this is our nums array, and the condition was like, if we have 4 different pointers I, j, k, l, then n at I plus n at j plus n at k plus n at l will be equals to target, and then only it will form a quadruplet, right? So we can just modify this equation in order to form n at k plus n at l equals to target minus the sum of these two elements n at I plus n at j. So you will find that we have formed two sums, like two sums. So this is a two sum and this is a second two sum, right? So how do we use it? Actually, this is not very intuitive, but still you should understand it so that it can be used in some other problems as well. So we can just find out all possible two sums, right? So how is the approach going? In this case, the first thing is to find the all possible two sums. So if you have n elements, then the total number of elements can go in order of n square. And once you have all possible two sums, then what will you do? For each of the n at I plus n at j, let's say you are moving these two pointers I, j, then for each sum, which is n at I plus n at j, you need to find if there exists a sum which is n at k plus n at l, right? So how will you do that? For all the unique combination of ij. So one such combination is n at I plus n at j. You took one combination, right? And you will use target minus n at I plus n at j. It will give you certain value, okay? And now n at k plus n at l should be equals to that value. So in this case, what you will do is, for a sum of n at I plus n at j, you need to verify if there already exists n at k plus n at l. And what should be the conditions? The condition should be n at k plus n at l should exist, right? So this first condition should be true. If you already have n at I and n at j and you have calculated value based on target minus this value, this will be value. And if there exists n at k plus n at l already, which is equals to value, then you have found a quadruplet. Now the second condition is I should be less than j, j should be less than k should be less than l. So this is according to the way which I have solved. Like I was maintaining order and ij will always be falling to the left hand side of kl. So this order should be maintained so that I should not be equals to j or no two elements should be equal, right? That is why the order should be maintained. So these are the two things which should be taken care. Now is there any way to get two sums very quickly? Now what we can do is we can just calculate all the possible two sums, store it in a map, in a hash map, and then for a given combination of ni and nj, we can easily find out if there exists nk plus nl, right? So using hash map it is possible. We have also used these techniques in some of the previous explanations which I have done, like finding the number of subarrays with given sum. There also we use the same technique, okay? And also there was a Google Kickstart problem which I have uploaded, which is the perfect subarray problem. So that also uses this same technique. So if you have solved those two, then you can get the intuition here. So I will recommend you to watch both those videos. Link will also be provided in the description below. Now just for an example here, this is the nums array and this is the target. This is ordered, okay? So we will find all possible two sums. So all possible two sums means what? This is I pointer and this is j pointer. For each I, move j for all the values. So it will be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, right? So the first combination is 0, 1 and sum is -2, -1, which will be -3. So -3 will be the key and the value will contain the index 0, 1. Okay, similarly j will increment and the next sum is -2 plus 0, which is -2, and an index is 0, 2. So 0, 2 comes here, right? And similarly all the values are stored. And if the same value is encountered again, okay, then we will store it in the form of a linked list. So this is just like chaining in hash map, okay? Now this can also be achieved by using vector or an array or a dynamic array, anything. But this is the concept of chaining. Now once we have stored all possible two sums, now what we will do? We will again start from the same position, right? This will be our I and this will be our j. Now what will be n at I plus n at j? So here that will be equals to -2 plus -1, which will be -3. Now we will find out the value which I had explained here. this one. This will be the value, right? Target minus n at I minus n at j. So what it will be? In this case, it will be 0 minus minus 3. So this will be 3. Is there any value 3 present in this hash map? You will see that value 3 is present and its key is 4, 5. So we have found one combination. Okay. So we will save it somewhere. So the combination here is I, j is 0, 1 and this new value index is 4, 5. So this is the first quadruplet. Okay, similarly we will repeat for the other values. Now our j value will increment, it will be minus 2 and this 0. So n at I plus n at j will now be equals to minus 2 plus 0, it will be minus 2. So our new value will be minus 2, 0 minus minus 2. So this will be equals to 2. So is there any sum 2 present in this hash map? You will see that there are two sums. Okay. So initially we are pointing to index 0, 2. Okay. And now this is sum 2 and now we have found 2, 5. But you will see that 2, 5 is overlapping with this 0, 2. This index 2 and this 2 is same. So this cannot be included, right? Because this will not form a quadruplet. It will just be a triplet. So this will be invalid. We move to the next one. This is 3, 5. So 3, 5 and 0, 2 are in increasing order. As I already mentioned, it should be in increasing order. So we will include this. Therefore 3, 5 will be included and this will be the second quadruplet. So like this, we will just iterate for all the values and we will find out what are all the unique quadruplets. Okay, and we will return it as our answer. So this was the third approach using hash map. So what will be the time complexity here? So what we are doing is we are finding all the possible n square 2 sums, okay, and storing it in hash map. And we are now accessing the key and traversing all the keys. So in the worst possible case, all our n square sums might be present at the same key. Okay, it might be present at the same key. So the chain length in this case will be n square. And so we will be doing linear traversal for these n square elements. And therefore the time complexity will be n square into n square, which will be order of n to the power 4. This is the worst case, right? So time complexity of the third approach is n to the power 4. I found that the second method was much more intuitive and it is having lower time complexity as compared to the hash map. So it just depends on you which technique clicks in your mind. If you have solved the perfect subarray problem as well as finding the number of subarrays with a given sum in an array, then this third technique might click in your mind. Okay. So it varies from person to person. I hope you were able to understand all these three techniques. Let us now look at the code. So I will be showing you all the techniques step by step. This is the technique number 1, which was by using simple set. So here I have taken 4 loops and this is the technique. Like I will be finding the sum. If sum is greater than target, then I will break because I have kept the elements in increasing order. And once we find that I, J, K, L combination additions is exceeding target, then there is no point exploring further ahead because all the elements ahead will be at least greater than equals to the current element. That is why we are breaking here. And if sum is equals to target, then we will simply save the quadruplet and try to insert it in the set. Now set will inherently take care of all the duplicates. It will remove all the duplicates, right? We don't need to think about it. And finally, what we will do, we will iterate over the set and we will push all the elements of the set into the result and we will return the result as our answer, right? Now, there is one more optimization, like I had already talked in the theory part, that I will be explaining in the code part. So here what happens is, if we have elements like this, then if I is pointing to this one, and if J is pointing to this, K is pointing to this, and L is pointing to this, right? Then you will see that if we take the quadruplet of 1, 2, 3, 4, then this will be a unique quadruplet. But if we increase this I pointer and if we move here, then this is also 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let's say the target value was 10. Okay, so this sum is 10. Now this is the second quadruplet, and if you take this one I value here, then this will be the third quadruplet, right? And it will also be 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's the point? All these are duplicates. So I value, j value, k value and l value should all be pointing to the unique integers. They should not be pointing to the same value again and again. Otherwise it will be useless to just run the loop and do all the operations. So when we have ordered the elements in ascending order, then actually all the repeating elements will be adjacent. Okay, so we should be skipping all the adjacent elements, all the adjacent repeating elements, so that we do not have to encounter the duplicate elements due to this reason. Okay, so since we are skipping some of the adjacent duplicate elements, the time complexity will improve, but the worst case time complexity will be same, but in many of the test cases, like, we will get a better time. So that is why I have commented these lines. You can just uncomment them. So by using these lines, you will be skipping all the same adjacent values. Okay, so this was the first approach. Now in the second approach, what we did was we just used 2 pointers plus set. So this is also the same approach, but this is slightly modified using the 2 pointer technique. Now in the 2 pointer we have taken left as well as right. Okay, left will be this one, right will be the last element. I and j will be somewhere to the left of left and right. Okay, left will move to the right, right will move to the left. So I have already explained the conditions for that, right? So I will not be explaining it again. This was the second approach. Now the third approach is by using hash map. Now in this case, I have taken an answer vector which will be returning the answer, and if we have less than 4 elements, then obviously we cannot find the result. And now we will be sorting it in ascending order, and after that I have taken a map which will be storing all possible 2 sums. It will be storing the index value, okay, I comma j pair. So this is the operation, which is n square operation, for finding all possible 2 sums. Once you have found that, now you have found all possible 2 sums, so we will be repeating the process for ij. So this is I and this is j. So this part was commented for the previous explanations. This was for skipping all the adjacent equal elements, right? So I haven't commented it here. Now for all the values of I and j, we need to find the sum. So this sum in the theory part, it was value. Okay, so once you find this sum, target minus num set I minus num set j, then this sum, here it is named as sum should be equals to n at k plus n at l. Okay, so this part should be present in the map. This sum part should be present in the map. So if map.find sum is found, then we will explore all the chained elements, right? So I was storing the elements in the form of a chain. In this case, chaining is implemented just by using vector. So map is nothing but integer, which is the sum value, and this is vector pair, which is nothing but I comma j pair, and vector will take care of maintaining the chain. Okay, so this is the hash map chaining technique. Here the first value is the first index, second value is the second index of the chained element. This is the first element. Now we will check that k should be greater than j, because we have maintained elements in increasing order. So I, j, k, l should be in increasing order. I less than j, j less than k, k less than l, so that all these indices are non-overlapping. Once we have found that they are non-overlapping, then we will also check that the previously stored element should not be the same index. Okay, so all the indices value should also be different from the previously stored values, and after that only we will be pushing it into our answer vector, right? And finally we will be returning all these quadruplets. So this is the entire process for this third approach. I personally found the second approach to be much easier and much more efficient as well. This one, 2 pointers plus set. So let me know in the comment section which one you found easier to understand as well as easier to implement. If you have any doubt, then feel free to comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of these programming videos. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.